3:04 a.m., the Strait of Hormuz was pitch black. In the CIC of the USS Mason, the radar screen suddenly flashed white. A massive fireball had just erupted over Karg Island, and just seconds later, the entire Strait of Hormuz came to life. IRGC speedboats raced out of coastal coves. The electric bats took to the night sky in unison. Alarm sirens blared across the U.S. warships offshore, and at that moment, Washington realized they had just set the entire strait ablaze. For the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, the Strait of Hormuz is a fortress. As smoke rose from the ruins of Karg Island, Tehran immediately activated its naval contingency plan. More than 130 IRGC fast attack craft, compact fiberglass-hulled and deadly, surged out of coastal caves and underground bunkers along Iran's jagged coastline. The IRGC speedboats weave through the maze of massive commercial oil tankers using these steel giants as physical shields to mask thermal signatures and radar traces. Flying just a few meters above the waves of Shahed, 136 drones charging in synchronized patterns. Their mission is clear: to saturate the sensors and blind the U.S. fleet with overwhelming numbers. 3:10 a.m. On the decks of the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, the air is thick with the smell of ozone and sea salt. The Aegis combat system, the fleet's digital brain, is currently being pushed to its processing limits. On the tactical display screens, target vectors begin multiplying faster than anyone can count. Target multiple fast-moving objects bearing from 045 to 110. The tactical coordinator's voice echoes through the internal communication system. From the launch tubes of the Mark 41 vertical launch system, 5LS white flames burst forth as ESSM missiles streaked into the night. These interceptor missiles form the first line of defense designed to shred the swarm of drones before they can close the distance. The siege of Hormuz has officially begun. The operational situation in the Strait of Hormuz shifted from harassment to a full-blown nightmare when Tehran launched a saturation attack. Shahed drones played a vanguard role at the forefront. Behind the screen of these low-cost Shahed drones, the IRGC unleashed heavy-hitting strikes, C-802 NOR anti-ship missiles. These missiles fly so low below 10 meters that they virtually disappear into the sea clutter created by waves and saltwater spray. Worse still, Iranian operators are employing the shadowing tactic. They adjust the missiles' trajectories so they align with the hulls of massive commercial oil tankers. To the radar operators aboard the USS Mason, the incoming missiles appear to be part of the civilian oil tankers right up until the very last second. 3:17 a.m. inside the Arleigh Burke class destroyer, the tactical action officer watches the radar screen fill with hundreds of red vectors. The response is a burst of lightning from the Mark 41 vertical launching system. The SM-6, the fleet's premier long-range executioner, soared into the sky. These missiles use active radar seeker heads to track targets X-ray scanning the entire horizon to destroy the C-802s before they could breach the civilian ship lanes. But the sheer number of the swarm was beyond imagination. Amid the deafening explosions, a Shahed 136 drone, though charred and smoldering, still propelled by its roaring engine, slipped through the interceptor fire. It was a harrowing sight, a jagged black silhouette streaking toward the Mason's bridge. At a distance of less than 2,000 yards, the ship's final line of defense, the Mark 15 Phalanx CYWS, took control. The 20mm M61A1 Vulcan cannon roared like a giant chainsaw slicing through steel. It spewed 4,500 tungsten rounds per minute, creating a veritable wall of lead. The drone disintegrated into a fireball just 50 yards from the ship's hull, creating a massive water column that crashed violently against the ship's side. This was the moment the U.S. realized its adversary was no longer a simple foe. This was a treacherous mosquito stinging an elephant scenario. The giant may be brimming with firepower, but it would still bleed in the narrow Strait of Hormuz. 3:22 a.m. While the surface fleet was engaged in a desperate defense over the Gulf of Oman, EA-18G Growler aircraft electronic warfare planes accelerated toward the strait. These aircraft were not carrying conventional bombs. Instead, they were armed with ALQ-99 jamming pods that turned the electromagnetic spectrum into a digital blizzard. In just a few seconds, the swarm lost its collective mind. The Growlers unleashed high-power jamming on the IRGC's coastal frequencies, blinding the shore search radars and, more critically, severing the encrypted data links between the speedboats. Iran's swarm had lost its queen bee. Taking advantage of this digital blindness, the true predators emerged from the shadows. From the decks of amphibious assault ships, squadrons of AH-1Z Vipers, the Marine Corps' premier attack helicopters darted close to the water surface. These Sea Cobras fly in a terrain-following pattern just a few meters above the waves to stay below the detection range of any remaining radar. Using the targeting system equipped with high-resolution infrared cameras and laser designators, the Viper pilots begin a systematic and ruthless purge. They do not waste ammunition, they prioritize high-value targets, IRGC command ships, and fast attack craft equipped with missile launchers. A GM-114 Hellfire missiles launch from the Viper's pylons, guided by invisible laser beams straight into the fuel tanks of the Iranian vessels. The speedboats vanished in bursts of orange fire. Their fiberglass hulls offered no protection against the Hellfire's tandem warhead. Iran's fleet, once a formidable natural force, is now nothing more than a chaotic collection of isolated targets. Lacking centralized command, the high-speed boats scatter wildly, crashing into one another or firing unguided missiles in a futile attempt into the darkness. But the IRGC commanders on the ground remain completely unaware of the final threat. Soaring at 30,000 feet above the carnage, a pair of F-35 Lightning IIs maintain absolute M-Con. These stealth fighters were not merely spectators, they were the puppet masters linking battlefield data and feeding it to weapon systems. The trap was closing and Tehran was about to realize that being seen meant being dead. 3:40 a.m. The battle took a deceptive turn. The remaining IRGC speedboats began a coordinated retreat, feigning a flight toward the jagged coastline of Qishm Island. It appeared to be a victory for the U.S. Navy, but it was a deadly trap. As the U.S. destroyers accelerated to maintain pressure and drive the fleet out of the shipping lane, they were being lured into a pre-designated kill box, a narrow stretch of water where the very geography became a weapon. Suddenly, the trap snapped shut. From fortified underground bunkers carved into the coastal cliffs, Iran unleashed a second-wave Qadr and College Fars missiles. These were no longer simple drones. The Qadr is a long-range subsonic wave-riding cruise missile, while the College Fars is a smart anti-ship cruise missile that attacks from an almost vertical angle. 3:58 a.m., 80 brand-new assault boats surge out from hidden coves, attempting to encircle the U.S. fleet in a pincer movement. Amid the chaos of the saturation attack, the U.S. Aegis system is hitting a data bottleneck, too many targets, too much radar clutter from nearby islands. This is when London's secret card is played. For weeks, the HMS Dragon, a British Type 45 destroyer, had been silently tailing the fleet. It was operating in M-Con Alpha mode, absolute electronic silence. To Iran's Iran sensors, the Dragon didn't exist. But as U.S. radar systems struggled with the chaos in the destruction zone, HMS Dragon suddenly spoke up. Its Samson multi-purpose radar mounted atop its distinctive conical mast lit up. Unlike the U.S. SPY-1 radar, which can be affected by terrain-induced interference in confined spaces, Samson was specifically designed for this environment. Samson stripped away every layer of interference, exposing the Qadr missiles lurking just below the surface of the water. The order was given Fire Sea Viper from the Dragon's Silver, a 50 VOP-LS launch tubes. A barrage of Aster 15 and Aster 30 missiles streaked into the darkness. The Dragon ship creates a steel